All right, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. As I mentioned in my social media post, if you saw him, the Beast is back. It's been about a year since I've gone live and been on YouTube. It's been over a year since I've gone live, and I'm happy to be back. It took a while, but I wanted to wait for the perfect theme, perfect idea, get a good cast of crew with me, and I'm excited. So people are filing in. We got damn, I forgot to highlight people. Am I the only one that can highlight?
Yeah, you're logged in. You gotta just gotta click on it. There you go.
We got our buddy Jay the Butcher. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. We've got John Big Daddy Ross. John, my friend, thanks for tuning in. And then yeah, we're gonna have some more people. Excuse me. We're gonna have some people trickle in and kind of do a little intro, go on what we're gonna talk about. I'm not alone, as you can see. So to my, I'll never get that down right, is my buddy Chris. Chris, welcome to your second live video on the channel.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, Mike. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Chris joined me, if you guys are familiar with my channel. We did a kind of a live video review of the Beatles Get Back. That's how long ago I went live. The documentary kind of Peter Jackson joint that he did. So second time Chris been here, and then below me, a lot of people from the comic community might know this guy. Chin, how's it going, buddy?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. Pumped to hang out, talk movies. I thought it was an awesome year for movies in general, so I'm pumped to talk about our top 10, our maybe not so top 10. So I'm excited for it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a sucker for top 10 videos, usually like when I'm trying to go to sleep or have nothing to do. Those are a good way to kill the time and stuff. So to do one is, I'm excited to do that. And with that being said, what we're going to do is a little bit different. There are a couple of different ways I was toying with, and then Chino suggested that we, because there's always bound to be intercepting movies, people with the same films, and when you rank things, it's how do you work around that. So we're going to go kind of like a slide-by-slide. Chino was nice enough to create some slides for us, so we're going to have a slide that has our top, each person's top 10. We'll do a quick, that's what I thought, quick, thanks for, I guess I am still having mic issues. Let me try to do...
You're just echoey. I think it's, are you using the onboard mic?
I'm using these wireless headphones.
Oh, now you're just gone.
Try different.
I can't highlight you, but I see you, CT Jazz King. We're gonna let Mike work through his technical difficulties here.
Can you guys hear me now? What do you want to is everything good?
No.
What's wrong now?
You sound very far away.
Yeah.
Do you have a mic or no?
Not handy.
Oh, there we go. Jay's saying it's good.
Now?
Just talk loud.
Awesome.
You're good.
Awesome. I have no problem doing that. If it does get bad, please feel free to point it out in the chat. Still experimenting with the new wireless headphones for the first time.
You're sounding much better.
Awesome. Jay, thanks for the updates in the chat. Appreciate it. I want this to be a good experience for everyone tuning in as the people continue to trickle in. And hey, kind of a little housekeeping. I'm up to I think 193 with subscribers. I've been pretty dormant the last year or so. But anyone tuning in or anyone know anyone who'd be interested in this type of video, hasn't subscribed yet, hit that little subscribe button. It's free. You can hit the like button too.
You're at 194 now, my friend.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome.
Let's get you to 200 by the end of the stream.
Awesome. Everyone tell your friends, tell them free live video tonight. Also, you can subscribe, no charge at all. Paulie, how's it going, buddy? So housekeeping, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I say, unless you guys want anything to add, let's get into the shindig.
Let's do it. Let's talk some movies.
Right on.
Awesome. So I just hit that little screen to put up those top 10s.
Just gotta share it.
Let's see.
There it is. I made
Awesome.
this slideshow very quickly after work, so I apologize for how crude it is, but it's much better than 40 slides. So everybody's on one slide, which is great.
And it
Alright.
takes math involved,
Yeah.
or it takes math out of the equation. I was under the impression there'd be no math in my own video, and these guys were too. So let's keep the numbers out. And
They said that in music too, but then look what happened.
All right, let's
So,
do this.
all right.
Number 10?
Number 10.
Let's do it. There we go.
So, I'll go first this time. Then for number 9, Chris could go first, and then Chin goes for you guys get the drift.
Sure.
So for my number 10, I'll do my quick little. I'm not a gamer, and there's 2 video game movies on my list. But obviously, who has not played Mario for hours on end? And I thought this movie delivered. It was fun. Wanted to get on the list. I enjoyed it. I guess we could kind of go into our criteria. Quick. A lot of things factor into mind: enjoyability, rewatchability, just overall production, how it went, and I thought this movie was very enjoyable, and was very happy to see this movie and see it be good.
Yeah, I said that's at 10, but I picked Infinity Pool as my number 10 because I just rewatched it recently, and I kind of brought me back to it the first time we watched it in the theaters, and I was like, okay, you know what, this is actually a really good start of 2023 for me, especially because loved Maya Goth, and I loved the weird twisted concept of like there's no death for these people. So I with all those factors in, I put that at my number 10.
Cool. Yeah, I went. My ranking is all over the place. I'll be honest. I didn't see half these movies. I just gave them numbers. No, I'm kidding. I saw them all.
I love it.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah. So number 10 for me was TMNT Mutant Mayhem. I'm a huge Turtles fan. Was this my favorite version of Turtles? No, but I love the style of it, and I'm happy that this is what kids can go forward with instead of those Michael Bay movies. So for me, that was enough to crack me into the top 10.
Awesome. This was on my list to watch. You can't save a movie every year, so that's definitely one I definitely do want to check out.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. That's on my list. I've been dying to see that, and that was a Seth Rogen was in that too.
Yeah,
Right?
he produced it, and he also plays Bebop.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, look who's
How's it going through my
joining
beat?
us. All right, number 9. Here we go.
Number 9. Chris,
Number
take us
9.
away. Or
Yeah.
start.
Oh my god, I just watched this like 2 days ago. A Haunting in Venice, man. Dude, going into it thinking it was just going to be like a straight horror film, and how it started, I'm like, all right, it's not going to be the best thing, but then it just took a huge left turn. It's like, no, it's like a horror murder mystery, and it kind of had like that Knives Out feel, and I was invested, and it was pretty good. And I haven't seen Tina Fey in a hot second, and she killed it.
Cool. This is it's one of 3. It's like the third in the trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Me, I did for number 9, I had Godzilla -1. The Beast is disappointed that it's not higher on my list. That's the thing with my list. I loved all these movies. It's very hard for me to just rank. So I tried to do what I could. But this is what a Godzilla movie should be. It was incredible. It was one of 2 like World War II films I saw this year, which was cool. But if you enjoy Godzilla or just like a kaiju monster movie that actually has a pretty well thought out story to it, this is for you. Oh, I loved it.
And we'll go into our deep dive section too, but like what Chin said with what he thought about the movie, I couldn't agree more.
Still have to see it. It's been on my list.
Same with
Swear.
the Haunting in Venice for me. And then my number 9. What can I say? I enjoyed this movie. Barbie, Margot Robbie, obviously anything she's in, I'll always watch. She's a phenomenal actress. Ryan Gosling, like those are two. People say the years of the movie stars are kind of, excuse me. There's no real true movie stars that put butts in the seats. I'd say Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling come pretty close to doing that. And I had a fun time with this movie. I enjoyed it.
She actually admitted to say that she might be taking a hiatus after this film, right?
I hope not.
Because
I didn't hear that.
I saw a comment she made saying like people might be getting tired of her, like looking at her on the screen, and like wanting to part away from it.
No.
No, that must have been a lie then.
Oh no, I'm just disagreeing with what she said. If she said this,
I mean, like, I wouldn't blame her though. It'd be good marketing on her end, right? Like she steps away for like a year or two, and then she just comes back with like another big film.
Build the
true.
hype.
Yeah, build the hype. Build that
Anticipation.
Margot Robbie hype. We all need more in her life.
Alrighty,
we go. Number 8.
And let's start us off with your 8, Chin.
All right. Number 8. My number 8 was Dumb Money. I went out with Jay. Dumb Money was great. It was like a kind of random, like, hey, let's go see this. Me and my friends go usually every Tuesday. Had a stellar cast. It's a true story. It's about the GameStop stocks and stuff like that happened a couple of years ago. It's super entertaining, also super frustrating at the same time because it's like I hate how our government works, all that fun stuff. But awesome movie, awesome cast, super well done. Highly enjoyed it.
I don't think I ever heard of that one.
I forgot about this.
It's a good one.
I remember seeing the trailers, like, oh, that looks really good, and that's added to. Didn't get to see, but want to.
Yeah, it's Paul Dano. It's the main character. Pete Davidson, Seth Rogen, Nick Offerman, Sebastian Stan. There's a ton of people. America Ferrera.
God, the cast was that loaded. Wow.
That was great.
My number 8, and I kind of went Barbenheimer. I didn't realize I did that back to back, but Christopher Nolan. Another thing people say there's really not many. It's more the directors that put the butts in the seats, and it's not a huge selection, but it's always your Jordan Peele's, your Scorsese's. I think still has the appeal to it. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of them, but Nolan's always one of those. Everyone always is going to get in line to see a Nolan film. The Dark Knight's my all-time favorite film. Love what he did with the Batman trilogy. And once again, we're going to be going into more deep dives. We're kind of just doing our initial thoughts. I'm trying to keep it brief for now. But Cillian Murphy, phenomenal. The whole cast did a great job. And it's arguably, people are making the case it's Nolan's best film. I'm biased with what I just said about The Dark Knight, but I wouldn't argue that this is people's, or in general, that this is Nolan's best film.
Yeah, my number 8, Mario movie for sure. I'm a huge video game fanatic. I thought this movie was great with throwing as many Easter eggs from every game, even some like deep cuts with
Some real deep cuts in this.
Yeah, some real deep cuts, especially like that original designs of Mario in there. But there was only one other movie that went higher for a video game movie on my list, but this was a solid 8 for sure. Also, Chris Pratt, guys, come on. Actually, I was more happy that Charlie Day was in it. I was more happy about that. His Luigi was spot on.
True. I enjoyed the voice cast very much in that. Before we move on to 7, Chin, do you know if Dumb Money's streaming anywhere? I have an app.
I just answered him. I think possibly Amazon. I'm not positive though. But if you can find it anywhere, it's a solid movie night watch.
Yeah, I just added that to my watch list. I'm invested.
If you go by the Just Watch app, that doesn't do it justice. I'll just say it. You can rent that on Apple TV for $2.99, Amazon $2.99, YouTube $2.99. You can buy it on all those platforms too for $6.99.
So no, it's not streaming free anywhere. It should be though, because it was really well done movie. So I'm hoping it's on something soon.
Cool. Number 7. back to me and talk to me. This was, I kind of forgot to mention for people who don't know, my big interest in movies will always, for the most part, bring me to the theaters are comic book related films and horror films. This is arguably one of the
Thanks, Jay.
the best horror films of the year. I did a separate on my Letterboxd, my top horror films, and I believe this was, 2 or 3. Chris, we saw this. You saw this, right?
Yeah,
we saw this together.
Yeah.
It was different. It's another take on like possession films, and these guys. I'll get more into the deep dive aspect of the video. But if you are in the horror, you want something new. You don't want like a franchise, blockbuster jump scares. This movie was great.
Yeah, it definitely had its own original take on, for sure. Like, we'll get more into that one. But like as Mike, I'm kind of the same boat. Like nowadays I'm mostly going to see like horror films and comic book films. And Spider-Man is one of my favorites for sure. I put Across the Spider-Verse at 7 only because like it definitely like I'm just waiting to see more. I want to see what's happening next. Like it didn't wow me as much as the first one did, but like I just love the animation. I love the voice acting. I love where it's going. And I want to see I just want to see the next one. But I love Miles Morales. I really named my dog after Miles Morales. And he's such a great character. But yeah, that's my number 7, and I'm really interested to see Chin, your 7 here.
So my 7 was Haunted Mansion, which I'll be honest is as scary as my list is gonna get, because I am a huge chicken, so it's staying at that level. But this was such a surprise movie for me. I mean, I love the ride at Disney; it's super fun. This very much brings the ride to life. The cast was great. Lakeith Stanfield was incredible as the lead. Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, and Owen Wilson kind of steal the show. It was a super fun time in the movies. After leaving it, I was very, very happy with this. So I can't recommend it enough. I think it's on Disney Plus. It's good if you got kids. It's good if you just want to watch it yourself. It's a fun movie, especially if you enjoy the ride at all at Disney, you'll love it.
Definitely another one. I want to try to watch during spooky season, but as a horror fan, there's only so much you could watch. But I'm hoping to squeeze that into next year's fall spooky season.
Watch it anytime, my friend. Anytime.
I agree with Chin more though. Like it was a good film. Just it was the ending for me that killed me. Like I thought it was just too much.
It's very much like the ending of the ride. So I get what you're saying, but overall, I liked it. I thought it was very fun. The cast killed me. It was great. I like Comic CT's. I like his list. His list is great.
I was gonna go before we go to our 6s. A couple more comments to highlight. Mikey P, Brother Blaze, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, buddy. Hopefully, see you at upcoming cons this year. To what Chinmo just said, respect. And let's go into number 6 for all of us.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's my turn, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Scream fan. It was the franchise that got me into horror films. And I didn't know where to put it on this list because I knew I had to put it on the list. And I think it's fit for 6, but man, I loved how meta it just got. Like just the fact that they were playing on top of everything that they ever done for the franchise. Like it was gold. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Mine did not make my top 10. I'll get into it more when we go into our deep dives. But yeah, Scream was one of the first. I used to like Chin. That was me until like college. I would previews for when I was a kid. The commercials for Ghostbusters would scare me and give me nightmares. There's an episode of Doug when he gets nightmares which gave me nightmares.
I know the exact episode you're talking about.
So, Scream was the first one because it had that cool 90s vibe. And it was a good, I always recommend that for people especially the first one, people just getting into horror. If they want to get into it, I always recommend Scream, but I'll go more into Scream 6 when we go into our deep dive section.
I will say I've seen most of the Scream movies, and that's as far as I don't. Slashers scare the shit out of me. So, I apologize. I don't know if we can swear or not. Sorry. All right. My number 6,
No
Mario.
worries.
You guys have already had on your list. I loved it. Grew up playing the games. I loved what they did with the characters and how they made it in this huge, expansive world. Can't wait to see what they do more with it. So I highly enjoyed it. I thought the casting, I know everybody gave Chris Pratt a lot of crap for this and that. I thought he was perfect for what they did with that character and how they played it. Charlie Day's Luigi was kind of perfection to me. But no, I had a lot of fun watching this movie, so they deserve my number 6 spot.
And then for me, I'll highlight. I'll make sure I get all these the recent comments before we go to 5s. But I figured highlight Sean's now. I Love Knocked on a Cabin. I think this was my second favorite horror. Talk to Me was third. First one will probably be, you can make a case, whatever. We'll get back into that. But Knock at the Cabin. So many reasons why I like this. I'm an M. Night Shyamalan fan for the most part. I acknowledge his faults. But when you go to The Sixth Sense, you go to Signs, you go to Unbreakable, you go to Split.
The Happening. Come on.
Give it about Signs.
No, Signs incredible. I love Signs.
And then this was for me awesome because it was a big bounce back, after a couple, line outs, strikeouts. I think he hit a home run with this. To Sean's point, I thought Batista was incredible. Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley was in it. It was cool to see him, getting work, and he was enjoyable. Chris, I know we saw this together. I know, and I guess this was based off a short story or a book. And I like where this movie went as opposed to the book. But yeah, it's another kind of good, it's horror, but it's also kind of more thriller suspense. So if you guys are, people that aren't really into the horror, this was kind of a cool borderline suspense thriller. There's some brutal moments in it, but once again, echo what Sean said. I thought Batista stole the show in this. And yeah, before we move on, Paulie agrees with that. My dad likes The Money Pit, with Family Guy references. I won't highlight a couple of those others, but yeah. Once again, people, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. And I think it's time to go to our number 5.
Number 5.
Oh yeah.
Chin, start us off.
All right. My number 5, Across the Spider-Verse. Loved it. Thought it was an amazing sequel to arguably one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. I thought this followed in suit perfectly. I'll be honest with you. My top 5, honestly, my top 10 really, but definitely my top 5 are very interchangeable to where I just enjoy them. I cannot wait for the follow-up of Beyond the Spider-Verse, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see more. The style, the voice acting, the story. They killed it. They crushed it.
I'll wait to the deep dive because I'm the only one who hasn't talked about that movie yet. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Chris mentioned it already. The Holdovers, and this was a fun watch. First, I heard the movie, and there's so many the Oscar movies and the non blockbusters that kind of fall. It's kind of, you almost have to do your homework before Oscar season really ramps up. And the first I really saw this movie getting praised was friend of the channel, Jerry Ordway, comic creator. He tweeted that it was a very good movie. And it came out, I forgot what it came out during. It was I think it came out when a lot of other big things were in theaters. I could be wrong. But it last month, and I think it still is on Peacock. It's Paul Giamatti. Usually, unless he's in a giant rhino mechanical suit, you're always going to get a great performance from Paul Giamatti. And then I always forget to write cast members' names, but someone who stole the show, I thought, and holding his own and acting very well, Paul Giamatti, was Dominic Sessa. I think that kid's got a bright future. I like the cut of his jib, and I hopefully I see we see more of him because I thought it was really good. And yeah, I believe this is on Peacock. And we'll go into our deep dives. I'm curious, did any of you guys, or you can refuse to say no, but did you guys see the holdovers?
I have not seen it. No.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Um,
I've been wanting to see it when I saw the photo of Giamatti and the McDonald's.
he deserved that.
And my number 5 was solid Five Nights at Freddy's. I remember when the game came out, like me and my buddy Brian, like we would play it like religiously. And I just love the concept of the game. Matthew Lillard, my go-to guy for anything horror. And Josh Hutcherson, I mean, like he killed it. And I just loved what they did with the film. It felt like I was playing the game, like the first game again. And it was just like, for me, it was like one of those horror films that was like, oh, you know what? This is what I needed. Like, this is good. I'm in a happy place.
Never, not once have I ever said that about a horror film.
You know what? You should come see a horror film with us.
Actually, it was funny when I was putting this list together. I was like, I wonder if he put this at 5 just for the sake of having it at 5.
Nope.
Oh, so Scream
Nope.
6 was your 6.
Oh, that's true.
God, yeah.
I'm happy I saw this in theaters. They did a bold strategy where they dropped it on Hulu and theaters. But it was fun. I agree with a lot you said. We'll go into our deep dives, but this is, I think, I'd recommend this as like kind of like another gateway in the horror. If you don't want to, if you want to get into the genre but don't want to see, Saw or The Shining or anything like that, I think it's a fun movie. Especially, I know a lot of people who like the games, like yourself, really dug it.
All right, number 4. Here we go.
And are we back to me?
Sure.
Wow.
Let's
That's
see.
interesting. Number 4 for all of us.
Yep. Oh yeah, I highlighted those. Sean, thanks for being part of the show. All right, sorry guys. It's the first time streaming live in a while. So this was another one I got late. I didn't see this in theaters. And once again, this is another video game movie in my top 10 for someone who's not really a gamer. Gran Turismo. Didn't see it in theaters. Kind of forgot about it. Then I saw it was on Netflix. I think it was like the last week of December when I tuned in and watched it. The cast, when you have David Harbour, who I'm a big fan of, and Orlando Bloom in another movie, Legolas, and Will Tucker.
Turner.
God, and I just rewatched like all that franchise. Shame on me. So to see him in another movie was great. I apologize. The young actor who played like the lead who wins the competition, who you follow throughout, was great. Djimon Hounsou, who's been in multiple comic book related projects. He was in The Quiet Place. He plays the father. He did a great job. So like all around the cast was great. And not being a gamer, it got me hooked because of the story. It was, you rooted for this kid. They were likable characters. I always love like a tournament competition kind of thing. So there's the big competition aspect of it. And then you follow his journey when he gets into. So I thought this was a fun movie.
It's a true story too, right?
Yeah, it was based on a true story.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong. And I heard they, sometimes there's creative liberties taken with those kind of movies. But from what I've heard, it was pretty much true to the real life, what happened. So I think it's still on Netflix, and, we'll talk a little bit more during our deep dives. But yeah, I enjoyed Gran Turismo a lot, believe it or not.
That was a video game too, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 4, Knock on the Cabin. Benson, you pretty much said everything I was going to say about the film. Batista was fantastic. For the short time that Rupert Grint was in it, I was captivated through his entire monologue. I loved how like each death in that film went. Like there was no sugarcoating it. It was literally right out in front of what their intentions were, what was happening, and what needed to be happened for that story. Yeah, that's a solid number 4 for me.
Nice.
Well said.
My number 4 was The Iron Claw. I absolutely loved this movie. It was incredible. Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, the entire cast crushed this movie. The story, I mean, if you're familiar with the Von Erichs, they pull no punches whatsoever in this movie. And it's incredibly well told, incredibly well shot. It honestly, it would have probably been a lot higher. But again, like I said, they're all kind of interchangeable for me. And just the mere fact of how sad and depressed the whole story is, I was like, I don't know, but it's an amazing movie. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, see this movie. It's incredible.
I was gonna say, because I saw it with two of my high school or college buddies, and they're not wrestling fans, but we wanted to get together for the first time in a while for the holidays. One of them was definitely interested. The other was, yeah, that looks good, and they were both blown away. I'll gush more about this during our deep dives because being a wrestling fan and just I absolutely love this movie.
Nice.
Yeah, Aileen, my girlfriend, and I went with my friend Brian to go see that movie, and none of us are wrestling fans, but man, it's up there on my list for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, top 3.
Before going to our top 3, another you're gonna have to stay tuned and wait to see if we get to that, Sean.
Yeah, we'll do. There's a whole recap. I got other slides.
Boston Chris, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, let's go to our top 3. My top 3s all made me cry, by the way. I'll admit it.
I wonder why.
Oh yeah. My number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. It was the first Marvel movie in a while. Besides, I don't count No Way Home because that's like its own separate category of Marvel films. But like the soundtrack is killer. I've always been a fan of Rocket's character in the MCU. I love how James Gunn like kind of furthered his story more than like just focusing on just like Star-Lord and yeah, this was a solid film. I kind of wish they just left it at this and not push more of like Star-Lord stuff like they're trying to. But this is it's so good.
Also, the fact I just want to point out the 3rd movie in your list that lines up with the number.
Oh shit!
Just throwing it out there. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Great accidents.
My number 3 was Barbie. I love this movie. I thought it was great. If you told me like 2 years ago they're making a Barbie movie, I would have been like, cool, it's gonna be great. My niece is gonna love it. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, okay, they're going kind of weird with this. All right, I'm into it, and saw it with some friends, and basically all the jokes landed with me. The story was great. I know it's not made for me, but the message was very powerful. The cast throughout all the Barbies, all the Kens, absolutely loved it. It one of the best movies in a long time.
And was it Annette Bening was the narrator?
No, Rhea Perlman. Oh no. Sorry. Oh my God, why am I blanking on her name right now? Helen Mirren.
Yes. She was great, and she has a couple of funny lines in that. And then Chris just spoke about it. I could gush even more about it when we do our little deep dives, but Iron Claw was just, being a wrestling fan, I knew about the Von Erichs. If you've seen the Dark Side of the Ring, that kind of exposed a lot of people. 'Cause that's another wrestling thing that a lot of people who aren't huge wrestling fans still turn into because of stories. And it's I was really curious how they were going to do it. And when the trailer came out, I knew the movie was coming out, but I wasn't really paying attention to castings. But I didn't know that was Efron or Jeremy Allen White until they show their names in like the trailer. I'm like, wow. So going back to what Chin said about how the cast was good all around, the effort they put into getting in the shape, and I believe Efron, I think, did he do some of his? He did his own stunts.
I think
They-
a lot
they
of
all
them. I think
actually
they
did.
all did. Yeah, they all learned how
So-
to wrestle.
The little bit I know about one of my buddies who used to train in a wrestling school. It's not easy, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. So for those guys, not only get into the characters, physically, but actually even taking the next step and do their own stunts, that was incredible. But yeah, and I teared up at the end of this one.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, rightfully so.
yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
Number 2 here.
Oh, before we go on, that's a very good point. I forgot to mention that.
Mhm.
Former wrestler Chavo Guerrero, at the part of the Guerrero family of wrestling. Eddie Guerrero's nephew. Great, phenomenal talent, and that's right. And it shows. When you do a wrestling movie, you want to bring in someone who knows the craft. And I thought Chavo did a good job training all the actors.
All right, number 2. Only time we have any movies that line up with each other. Was it me first?
I believe, yeah.
Guardians 3. I'm upset that I didn't follow Chris's lead and put it at 3 for just the numerical essence of that. But no, absolutely, Guy, what's going on, man? Absolutely love this movie. It was such a fitting end to James Gunn's trilogy. Characters that I've loved for years. And the way that he was able to wrap it up, it's so hard to do an ending right, and he crushed it, nailed it. One of my favorites of the year. Arguably, if not top 5, if not top 3, top 5 of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah.
A perfect transition. I agree with all that. I agree with everything Chris said. I thought this was going to be my number 1 movie. Then it was until I saw my number 1 a couple weeks ago. You can make a case. Chris brought up Spider-Man, the best trilogies in the MCU. Make a case for this. Make a case for Spider-Man. I'm the one person who's not the biggest Civil War fan, but
Michael.
I do respect
Oh,
people
Michael.
who say. I know. Watch my MCU ranking I did a little while ago, but it's James Gunn. James Gunn is why I do have hope. I know he's kind of getting a lot of hate on Twitter, or it's been a little divisive but because of what he did with Guardians, I have faith in his DC. I have faith in his Superman. My all-time favorite superhero is Superman. So this gave me hope for James Gunn's DC universe. And I thought, like Chris said it, this would have been the perfect ending for all these characters. And I like what they did. We can get more into it, but everyone thought something was going to happen in this movie, and because you thought you needed something like that to happen, but he pulled it off where that didn't happen, and it was still satisfying and well deserved. And I can't, once again, this was going to be my number 1 movie until I saw my number 1.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's super fair. This was probably going to be my number 1. I was kind of torn between the two, because man, I am a stickler for a good fucking horror film. And Talk to Me was one in a while that really got me sitting in my seat, kind of on edge, waiting for whatever was going to happen next to happen. And I think it's not since Smile was 2 years ago, 2021, what was that?
That was last year. So that was
that was
last year.
technically 2 years ago. But like that was like a good jump scare film, but this one was just more like suspense. It was subtle. It was eerily calm at certain points. And I just loved the idea that it never ends. And I thought this movie did a good job of showing that.
Nice.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. We'll do a little bit more.
It's a great watch. You have to watch it.
It's worth. It's definitely worth if you're a horror fan. And the directors were YouTubers,
Yeah.
And they made this from New Zealand, and phenomenal. If you want something that's going to stick with you, there's some scenes that just, wow, that like,
They really talk to you.
in a way, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. In a way, I feel like there's a hand right in front of me. They just want to grab.
so yeah, I'll get more into it, but yeah, that was my, I think, that was my second favorite horror movie of the year. We'll get into our deep dives, but all right, before we go into those deep dives, let's reveal our number ones.
Let's do it. Nigel, what's going on, man? I saw you in the chat. Hey, man, welcome. Number ones. Boom. I like the deep breath sighs.
I saw this, I also believe, the last week of December, and I grew up loving Godzilla. My parents bought me the VHS of Godzilla vs. King Kong, the original, the English dub, and just that's been gift, and I've loved Godzilla. There's the American 90s TV, 90s, I think maybe even 80s TV show. There was then the TV show based on Matthew Broderick. There's the Marvel comics. There's been tons of comics. I've always loved Godzilla. I love dinosaurs, love giant monsters. And this was, as much as I love the recent Godzilla universe we've seen, I think one of you guys mentioned it earlier. You see those movies for those giant monsters, giant monster action. And we've unfortunately, except for Kong Skull Island, and I think parts of the original one, the first one with Bryan Cranston, there's not a lot of meat to the human characters. This movie, and I usually don't go towards movies with subtitles. It's just, I usually just,
it's a lot of
there's
reading.
so much movies out there. So I usually don't, but it was Godzilla. The reviews are great. I went alone to this movie because I heard all the buzz. I wanted to see it because I wanted to factor into this list whether I liked it or didn't. And we'll get more into the deep dive. But this was such a good movie, such an enjoyable movie. And once again, I credit this one. The ending really hits you or hit me. And this was debatable. A lot of people in the horror community, I put this at number one ahead of, Not Kevin Talk to Me, because this is the most, there's elements of Jaws in this movie. Godzilla is probably the scariest he's ever been. And I love this movie.
This is what a Godzilla movie should be.
Yeah, I still need to go see that. Alien and I have been talking about it for the past, I think since we first saw the trailer. And actually, I think her brother Sam told us about it too, to go see it. I've been dying to see a really good Godzilla movie, because I think the only one I enjoyed was the second one of the Cranston. It was had Ghidorah in it. It was the whole
God of Monsters.
God of Monsters. That was the only one I really enjoyed out of the franchise so far. But my number one, Iron Claw, for sure. It was just an unexpected film that I thought I wasn't going to enjoy. But their story is it's so real, right? You can't really fake that on film. What they went through, and Zac Efron was killer, and I'm a huge Jeremy Allen White fan. I love a lot of his works, and he really surprised me of how much work he put into this film, especially just to get into that physique.
Yeah, they all got jacked for that movie.
Yeah. Which Zac Efron said he was never going to do again since he did Baywatch. But then here he is, in almost Dwayne The Rock Johnson figure.
Yeah.
But it yeah, I can't say anything that you guys haven't already said about this film. It was great.
All right, my number one, I went Oppenheimer. This movie, it's a 3-hour movie about the guy that made the atomic bomb, not even really about the bomb. It's a story that, I'm a history buff, so I knew what was going to happen. I know the story, but Christopher Nolan, in my opinion, is a master storyteller of a non-linear story, and I love that because he'll jump around from like, hey, here's the end, here's the middle, here's the end again, here's the beginning, and he does it so well, so flawlessly. And when he has a cast like this, like there's a reason Cillian Murphy keeps winning awards. He killed it. Emily Blunt's amazing. Matt Damon, Florence Pugh. Everybody in this movie kills the role they're in. Put together with Nolan's directing and his storytelling, it is Nolan being the most Nolan I've ever seen, and I absolutely loved it. I went down to Providence with two of my buddies and saw it on the 70 millimeter IMAX.
Ooh.
It was incredible, and that is why it is my number one. Absolutely. Robert Downey Jr. absolutely kills it. They all do.
And you mentioned the cast, and I won't say it. Maybe in deep dives I'll think about it. But if you're a fan of 90s, 2000s Nickelodeon, no crap, that's him. I got no way. So there's a fun
you could say it. It's not like a spoiler that it's not like he's a big part in the movie. It's just an actor that pops up.
For me, I'm happy I didn't know that though, because that was such a cool moment.
There's a ton of actors that like Josh Hartnett's in this movie. Like, where's he been for a while? Casey Affleck shows up. There's so many actors in this movie.
What's his face? I'm blanking. He was Harry Osborn in the Garfield. He's been in a couple other horror movies.
Dean DeHaan.
He was good in that.
Yeah. You got what's his name? McQuaid. I almost said McQuaid. Quaid, Jack Quaid from The Boys is in there.
That's right. Yes.
The one I'm just going to say who you were mentioning, Josh Peck is in there.
I was like, that's Josh Peck. There's no way, and it was him.
Of Drake and Josh fame. But yeah, no, the cast it's stacked, huge. Rami Malek. It's a great cast, great movie. Just loved it. So that's why I got my number one.
So now we're kind of going to do our recap / maybe a little our final thought deep dives and. I got
like 3 quick slides for our recaps really quick for those that joined late if they want to see the recaps here. Here's the Beast, well 10 through 6 and then the other ones will follow.
Mario, we kind of some of those we might not have to go really deep dive into some because we all kind of talked about them at some point. Loved the cast. It was fun. Everyone who's loved, everyone grew up or has played a Mario thought it delivered, and they teased there's a post-credit scene, so hopefully I can't wait for the next one.
I just so badly wanted to spoil it by doing the voice.
I want to hear that. Excuse me, guys. Barbie, we all talked about it. Margot was great. Gosling was great. There's some funny jokes.
Killer songs too. We didn't mention the soundtrack in that movie.
Oh, phenomenal! And it's a shame that I don't think I'm Just Ken is going to be nominated for, or is that true? But there's an awesome Ryan Gosling has a great song in it. There's a funny, if you've always despised the guy who brings the guitar to the bonfire, there's a fun kind of joke. It's one of the songs.
That joke did not quit, and I loved it.
So it was just because of this, the Mattel universe has been born. I can't wait for the Magic 8-Ball horror movie. And Rock'em Sock'em Robots should be a hit.
Connect 4 coming to a theater near you. Sorry, what?
Oppenheimer, we just talked about it. I agree. Why it was lower on my list was because as great as Robert Downey Jr. was, and the whole cast, to echo what you said, Chin, I thought it went a half hour too long.
It's a long one. It's a long movie.
It was a great movie, and it's strap in for this one. It's good, almost good to watch at home. You can pause, refill your libations, go to the bathroom. But I thought a lot of biopics, movies based on true stories, and this is my opinion. This isn't a huge negative because I loved it, and my whole top 10 was kind of hard to make ranking wise. But a lot of biopics will do they show a picture of the real life person. They go, this person did this person wanted to do that. I thought it could have been better if they just did that for the last half hour. Small critique, small nitpick. It gave Robert Downey Jr. a chance to act his but off more. That was just my small critique on that. But I love the movie. Talkman, we all talked about already. If a lot of the horror fans in the chat that haven't seen it, definitely recommend it. And same with Knock at the Cabin. Yeah, I don't think I need to deep dive more into the panel there. Holdovers, once again, Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, the actress who played the chef was also very good. There's some other supporting characters that act well. I hope it gets some Oscar buzz and nominations. Gran Turismo, based on a true story. I'm not a gamer, but this movie had a lot of heart. Very, very fun and enjoyable, I thought. We talked about Iron Claw, so once again, check it out. My only critique in that was there is Ric Flair in the movie.
What do you get against Ric Flair?
What was that?
No, I'm just kidding with you. It sounded like you were like upset that he was in the movie.
Oh no, Ric Flair. I saw my dad mark out fanboy over him when we met him at Rhode Island a couple years ago. He's Nate. He's the man. He's
Woo!
Woo! Sorry, that was terrible. I apologize. Chin was better. But speaking of that, this actor made a choice, and I don't know because Ric Flair is kind of weird licenses with his Ric Flairisms. It did not feel like Ric Flair. The look was okay, but there's a promo segment I don't know, and I'm not trying to hit on the actor, but it wasn't Ric Flair. He goes, whoa, in that woo.
You got to think about it though. This is early Ric Flair.
Fair. That's a good point. But once again, this was my top. I think this was my 3. So I respect all actors and decisions, and we don't know everything goes on behind if there were like likenesses that they couldn't use from him. So that's not a huge. I'm just trying to be, I'm trying to be devil's advocate, play both sides. But that was my only critique. Another thing, kind of spoiler light. If you know the story or watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode, there's another brother.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
And Boston Chris, we will tackle that question. And I appreciate your thoughts on Flair in the movie. But there is another Von Erich brother, and if you know the story, that wasn't included in the movie. The director, I respect his decision. Me personally, there's only in a movie, there's only so much you can take.
That's what the director even said. That's the reason the other brother is not in the movie. There's only so much tragedy in a movie that you can have. And
my buddy Taylor, who I saw it with, was I'm a sucker for the classic, and I'm blank on what it's called, but comic book covers that had the pose of a character holding another character in their arms. Zac Efron does that with one of his brothers, which is just like, it's almost like an iconic, like, oh my, you remember that. And
it's
then
the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the
Mhm.
Supergirl cover.
Exactly. One of my all-time favorite covers, another Jerry Ordway shout out. And then the scene that leads into that, or that follows that, where it's almost like Zac Efron's thoughts or what he thinks kind of happens with his brothers post what happens. That's one of the scenes that really hit me. So that movie, I gushed about already. It's a great movie for wrestling and non-wrestling fans alike. Guardians 3, we all talked about it. It's great. Arguably one of the best, like Chin said, top 5, top 3 MCU of all time. And I did just go over how much I love Godzilla. So yeah, I think, with my deep dives and kind of playing devil's advocate and trying to find critiques, Godzilla, once again, the human characters you care about. I think a lot of people don't see those movies because they think it's just monsters and the humans don't mean anything. I can't stress enough how much the human aspect, the human characters, the chemistry the actors had, and it really hit the heartstrings. And that's my recap and deep dives into my top 10.
Nice. Should we tackle this question before we move on?
Yes, it's a very good question, Chris. For the panel, who is the best 3-hour director, Nolan or Tarantino? I don't want to go first.
Ooh. Oh God.
I'll go first. You're not going to like my answer to it, but they're both great. They both have very different styles, and it really just depends on what you're in the mood for. Nolan is a little bit usually more serious, where Tarantino you usually have more of that not spoof, but like somewhat parody of real life, like where it's very over the top is probably a good way to put it, and usually a little bit more comedic, even with like very gruesome, very kind of gory and like adult themes to it, but has like a light heart to it. So it really just depends on what I'm in the mood for, because I'll watch either of them. So
Yeah.
how's that for
Yeah,
devil's advocate? There's both of them.
I know my
Yeah,
answer.
I would say
Chris, you
about the
go.
same, but like I have to go with Tarantino. Watching Kill Bill growing up was like one of the first films my dad got me into, because he was a huge Uma Thurman fan, and
Who isn't? I mean,
yeah,
you know.
right. I mean, come on, wiggle your big toe, guys. But like,
Doing it right now.
trying. But there's something about Tarantino's work that just always keeps me captivated more than Nolan's. I mean, it's always those subtle details in his dialogues that really get me thinking of like, oh, this is reference to something like 20 minutes or past in the film, but like just it's how he connects things is what gets me like into it. Actually, I just rewatched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And man, like, just, I mean, if you didn't know the story of like the Manson murders and all of that, like, you don't, like, you would have not expected to see how it was going to go at the end. But like, I, I just love his work. I thought it was kind of eerie watching like a mock of like Sharon Tate watching one of her own films in the
Love
theater.
that
I was
scene.
like, yeah, I was kind of like, well, that's really super eerie. And the fact that like, spoilers if you guys haven't seen the film, I think it's out long enough now for people to seen it. Like, the fact that she did survive that was really like kind of uplifting for, because I acted throughout my life a bit, and like it's kind of assuring someone as talented as her did live through a tragedy like that, right?
Yeah. Once again,
It
Margot
was
Robbie
just
was great.
yeah, and it's Margot Robbie. But I
Brad
have to go with
Pitt,
Tarantino. Like his
DiCaprio.
work is just great. Yeah.
I think, Mike, before you answer,
Sure.
CT Jazz King has my favorite comment of the night with,
I was going to add to that.
I had to watch Pulp Fiction alone as CT Jazz Queen left 5 minutes in. The fact that you stayed is incredible. Like, the wife's out of there, but I'm going to say, honey, I love it. That's fantastic.
I like Sean's points too. Before I answer, very tough. That's why I chose to go last.
That's why I went first.
I agree with Chinmo and Sean. If I had to pick one, I think Tarantino. And it's funny because I mentioned The Dark Knight's my all-time favorite movie. Pulp Fiction's my second all-time favorite movie. Going back to just how different, culty, goes out of order. The cast is great. You have another, gifable moment of the confused Travolta, and the Uma Thurman scene, the Sam Jackson, of course. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I loved as well. Nolan, I have to admit, I have not seen Inception.
Oh my god,
dude, what?
Love the Dark. I love Batman Begins.
Prestige.
That's been on my the oldest residents on my C list. One of them.
Listen, it's been fun talking with you guys. I'll see you later.
Bye, Jim.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Give me a hard time.
I did not care for Interstellar.
We have very different tastes in movies.
Murph, take a drink every time he says Murph. And I like McConaughey. And the visuals are great. There's a cool kind of cameo halfway, kind of cameo in the middle.
That's true.
Oppenheimer is great, and that's the thing. It's like I think I get more like because of how culty Tarantino is. I'm more drawn to that. As good as Nolan is, like I know with the Nolan movie, you're gonna have to strap in for that ride with a lot of dialogue, a lot of and another movie I never. Well, I haven't seen Tenet either, and I heard that actually got mixed.
Yeah, that's on my list too.
It seems like Tarantino are the movies I definitely see. Nolan ones like you can say the same for Tarantino, but Nolan's just like you gotta be in the mood to watch that movie. And that's nothing against him, but for me personally, it's like, do I want to sit through one of these movies where it's gonna be me thinking, asking questions the whole time and pausing? Once again, that's a me thing. It's not a that I definitely do want to see because I know the cast in that is great. I like the plot of that film sounds right up my alley. So that's definitely one I'm gonna I'm a goal for. We're gonna talk about most anticipated for 2024. I definitely want to hit a lot of my movies that
you get David Bowie in a Chris Nolan movie. I mean, come on.
He's in that movie?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I need to watch it then. I also haven't seen it.
Before we move on to Chris Emerald Knight, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it, buddy. Like a lot of people in chat, looking forward to the upcoming events, comic related, throughout the year. So thanks for tuning in, Chris. Appreciate it. That's the thing. True. Like Prestige. Like I remember when I first heard about the movie, I looked at the cast and I was like, how haven't I seen this movie? So it's definitely on my list of things to see.
Basically, you can't go wrong with either choice.
Yeah,
it really depends on the mood.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Though I could throw on Django at any time, and not
fair.
Have a care in the world.
All right, Chris, your top 10.
Yes, yeah, my top 10. Yeah, I mean, Infinity Pool, like it was I thought it was a great start for me in the year. Definitely after rewatching it, gave me that final answer to put on my at least my number 10 on great. It's a horror movie. It's twisted. It's weird. Loved it. Maya Goth can't hate it.
James.
Yeah, that was the only downside, right? Is that like? But it was cool. Is a concept like I said for most of the, especially when I talked about Talk to Me just a while ago. Like I love the idea of like things just never end. Like the horror just continues. And that was a good reason why I put in my list here. Haunting in Venice. I mean, it's a great horror murder mystery. Like you don't expect it in the beginning to be like it's going to be like a Knives Out style, but it was definitely creepier. It had its moments. It had some decent scares, but it's definitely a watch if you haven't seen it yet. Mario Bros. Come on, guys. Video game films. You gotta have them. Gotta have them on your lists. You do. Seth Rogen was also in this film, which killer Donkey Kong.
He was a very good Donkey Kong.
He was great. He was so great, and like
also very underrated. But Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I didn't even realize it was him until after I watched the film because I was so confused why he was pitching with the cat, like going to interviews and stuff with the cast. I'm like, did he produce it or something? Like I didn't even realize that he was actually Toad.
He had a sneaky fun year. I'm going to talk about another movie later, but he was in another movie that he was kind of like my best part. But we'll get to that later.
I know the exact movie you're talking about. I just saw it the other day.
Well, now you got to tell me, what film is this?
That's in my honorable mention, sir.
I'll say it. Wonka. I'll say it.
Oh, he's in Wonka?
He plays the most fun character
Yeah.
In that movie. It's classic him, and he's
very funny.
Okay, well, that's another one on my list I have to see. There's a lot you guys mentioned I still need to see. Barbie, Oppenheimer too. Like I haven't seen those guys yet. But Spider-Verse. I can't say enough about this film. I just wished I put it lower only because I the way it ended. I just think it was too quick. I think it should have had something different to lead us into the next film more, because like I'm literally on my seat of like I just want the film now. It kind of sucked you guys left us on that note in such a weird way, and how fast paced the movie went. It didn't even feel like it was what was it, like 2 hours or something like that of like.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, it's a long,
up to
but it
well
didn't
over 2
really,
hours.
it didn't really feel like it though. It just felt like it just sped through it. Um, but Scream, it's the one that got me into the franchise, guys. It's got me into horror films. I had to put it, as you guys point out, weirdly at number 6. It was
The
just
first of three.
first of 3, yeah. I just loved how meta it was. Like I am a stickler for like when movies make fun of themselves. And they did it in such a good job of still keeping it still keeping it scary. It was just it was a good film.
Before we go to his top 5 quick, I want to just comment on some of those that I saw. That Infinity Pool, once again, unique, different. It's I'm getting my David Cronenberg, who did The Fly, amongst other things. His son, I think Brendan Cronenberg, correct me if I'm wrong, he did it. And a fellow countryman, a fellow Danish individual, Alexander Skarsgård, great job along with Mia Goth. Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse, I'm going to get hate for this. It was my number 24. Why it was so low, and I know I'm like the one person who probably thinks this. It was a little too long. I thought the Miles story was too much of a continuation from the first one and dragged on a little too much. The Gwen Stacy stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, it was originally my 336, but
Yeah.
I put it up to at least 7.
The fact that you had the number so quick and it was so high, I imagine like someone's like, "Hey, what are your top movies of the year?" And you pull out a scroll that does not stop going. I love it. Love it.
I love the Gwen Stacy storyline. The animation is great.
Yeah.
I love all the Easter eggs, all the different Spider-Men. They did the classic meme. I thought the movie was just a little too long. I think it dragged a little too much with the Miles stuff. And I'm excited to see the third part of this trilogy. I'm done before I get canceled from social media and life. Screams. I loved Scream 6. It was my 17. My cons kind of brought it down. I love the franchise, like you do, Chris. What killed it for me, and like you said, it was brutal. It was awesome. So it was the most brutal Ghostface we've ever seen. Yeah. We got our souvenir cups when we went, and I still have it. They're awesome. Scream can sometimes come down to the reveal, and that really brought it down for me. I have like 2 cons. That's one of them. And the overacting of the reveal, I was like, "Ugh, this could have been up there, but it's just the reveal was not for me." And I didn't feel like there were that many stakes. There's one main character who, and I'm not usually a guy like, "Oh, that kill is awesome," and I do like my top 10 kills of the year. But there was one like epic moment where there's 2 Ghostface eye, Ghostface in stereo. They do that one moment, and like that's awesome, because it was like symmetrical. It was sick. Then that character, I was like, come on. But anywho, I love the Scream franchise. I have faith. I'm looking forward to see where they go.
But you see, that's why I love the film so much, because of also that ending of like they know what they're doing. They know it's going to be crap for a reveal. Like it was expected from the beginning, just like the first film of this trilogy was. Like you knew what was coming, and they just played on it, and they rolled with it, and it was like a good bad, like it was just it's bad, and you're watching because they know it's bad, and they're doing it. Like the actors know it's crap. They like the characters within in the movie knew what was just like, oh yeah, we expected this.
And my last comment, or I was just gonna say, I go into theaters. I usually forget to before the movie starts, but during the credits roll, I'll Google, does this film have a post-credit scene, and not read it. I just wait to see, yes, stay till after the credits. Initially, I was pissed, but I was kind of spoiled because it's not that big of a deal. They kind of go to it's like almost like a deleted scene from an earlier scene in the film, but it's one of the characters going, not every movie has to have a post-credit scene. Cut the black. Yeah. I laughed at that after thinking about it. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Before we move on, very quick question, Mike. What does your list go up to number-wise?
40.
Oh, okay. All right.
Great.
All right. Just had to, everybody was wondering. I had to ask it,
We're going to talk to like most disappointed and bottom. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Quick. Eddie, thanks for watching, my friend. Selfish shame.
Hey, Eddie.
Those are lyrics to one of my songs on my album I put out this year. It's available on the iTunes and wherever you listen to music, Spotify. Yep. It is on Napster. But my album, Mike Benson, Napoli. If you follow me on Instagram, it's in my bio. Eddie did a lot of the music on it, drums, and a couple of the other backing instruments, and produced it. And he did a phenomenal job. Shameless plug over. Continue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was some real bad guitar playing on that too.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention the crappy lead guitar.
Yeah, the lead guitar was like it was terrible. I suck. But my for my top 5, Five Nights at Freddy's. It was that horror film for me that I was like, I'm glad I saw this. I happy of what they did with it. Again, Matthew Lillard. Can't go wrong with him. And with Josh Hutcherson as the night guard was just great. And I just loved how well done the characters looked on screen, like between Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy's. Like just all of it was just so well done. And this is a film, like I agree with Benson. I think he made this comment earlier. If you want to get into like some horror stuff, like this is a good gateway movie. Knock in the Cabin. Yeah, that's one of Batista's best for sure. And it was just not sugar coated. It was laid out in front of you what was going to be happening, and I was captivated for sure. And I mean, we've gone through Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, enough tonight, just to say like how great it is. I couldn't put it anywhere else but number 3.
You had to.
I had to at this point. But yeah, I had no more comments. Honestly, for the last 3 films, I have no comments of just how great these films are. Like, you really want a good suspenseful horror film? Talk to me. Like, of 2023, Talk to Me was the one you should see. You even if you don't know wrestling, you just still want to see a good like documentary, like biopic film, Iron Claw. And especially because I cannot fathom how well done Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White were in this film. Like you've seen a guy through Shameless, you've seen him in The Bear, you've seen Zac Efron go through his whole High School Musical phase to Baywatch to Neighbors to doing those like kind of what's it called style films, those like lovey-dovey
rom-coms.
But it wasn't a rom-com, but like they were kind of serious too. Like
he did he did it's like Michael B. Jordan, him, Miles Teller.
Yeah,
can't remember the name of the movie. It was a good movie though.
Yeah, like you've seen him grow, and like to a point where it's like this. Like you know he's talented. He's got the chops.
Underrated movie of his is The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Is a great movie of his.
I remember hearing about that.
Came out a year or 2 ago.
It's Greatest Beer Run. I have to take a look at it.
True story. Very good movie.
I just have one comment. Not like the last slide. Chin, I am curious. If you were to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, and if you do get scared, I'll pay for damages. But I'm curious to see what
I'll give you a soda
would
pop
think
for
of
your
that.
good try.
We'll buy you an ice cream and you'll be happy. Sorry,
Yeah.
what was the question? Would I see it?
No, I was just saying I'm curious to see, with your take on horror, and in my opinion, I think it's a movie you could show someone who's looking to get in the horror, or someone who wants a little scare but won't get super scared and keep them up at night.
See, that's the thing, Mike. I'm not looking to get into horror.
Fair enough.
I have no interest. I have no interest in getting into it.
Okay, but if I Venmo you $5 right now,
No, that is one that, like, yeah, I get it's supposed to be like a scary, but also like it's based on the video game. Like it's one that I don't think I would be like terrified of, But I never played the game. I'm not a huge. The only thing that kind of has me interested is like Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson. I like the cast.
I'll say too, that movie takes a right turn where it's like, are they flipping the complete genre of this film? Chris, do you have an idea? There's a point in the movie where you're like, is this going to be not a horror movie?
but that was kind of the general basis of the game when it first came out.
And I'm not playing
It's
the game.
actually a romance.
Yeah,
Well,
it's actually.
Is it really?
Kind of. It feels like
Well, I mean,
people make like the fake trailers of like The Shining as a
shut.
a serious Oscar like family movie, and then Elf as a horror movie spliced in the trailers. You can this move the turn this movie took at one point. I'm like, are they gonna? They kind of don't, but anywho, that was just my 5 cents. I'm just gonna hit a few quick comments. Eddie, we're stoked to have you watching. I appreciate everything, man. And Chris, you never know, right? That's all we can say is you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it a couple of times. You wanting to go out and kind of showcase the album a bit more and hit a couple clubs and stuff. And no, it's I'm just waiting for your phone call.
My people will contact your people.
Thank you. But while we're talking music, I mean, if you guys notice, my handle says From a Little Town. That is my handle for music and stuff. You can find me basically almost everywhere. It's just a fun little project I like to do. And if you like it, great. I have more stuff I'm working on now, and I'm going to try to release something within the year. So take a listen. I'm From a Little Town.
And I broke it. Nope, now Chris isn't there.
So you kicked Chris out. We'll give him a second. I don't know what you're doing right now. You had it at the other one.
Plugging my own stuff into someone else's video, so that's fine. I'll take the damage.
Hey!
There we go. We're good.
Back in
We're
business.
in.
But now I'm on the bottom of the screen.
Mike can move it. Beast, you can.
We'll go through that whole ordeal again. So
Okay.
It's fine.
keep the
It's fine. It's fine.
All right. All right. Move
would
on.
have to agree.
Before I move on to mine, I will say that movie we're talking about, Zac Efron, is That Awkward Moment. That I look at.
Yes.
Good movie.
Yes, I forgot
Yes.
about that.
All right.
Yep.
I'll go through mine quick. Like I said, I didn't actually watch any of these movies. I just did a quick little Rotten Tomatoes review read on all of them before this. So
I'm
I
shocked
think
you're
these were
able
the
to
good
get that
ones.
done, like 5 minutes before the before we
I
streamed.
was it's like cramming for a test with Spark Notes over here. But no, it was overall a fantastic year for movies. I think it could have been even better, but the writer's strike and the actor's strike delayed a bunch of stuff. Like if we had Dune this year, it would have been a game changer.
Mhm.
But anyway, top 10 TMNT. Love the style. Like that wasn't my favorite TMNT, no, but I like this is what kids have to look forward to now. I'm excited for a sequel. We all have 12 children. Okay, Comics CT. You have no idea our personal lives. We all have 12 kids each. It's crazy.
Why do you think I haven't been on YouTube in over a year?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I only have one kid, and he's sleeping on the couch. He's kind of just chilling over there, just lounging around.
I'd solo you, highlight you, but I'll mess it up again. So Chris has an adorable dog.
Yes, his name is Miles, as I mentioned.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to add that to the
And
list. I am.
You know what?
We'll
Here's
get
the
to
thing.
most into-
You say Puss in Boots is a great film. I say I can't wait for Garfield to come out.
Well,
Next
we'll
year.
talk
We'll get
about it
to
when
our
we get
most
to yeah,
anticipated.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm jumping the
but-
gun.
All
But we're
right.
talking about
No,
cat videos
I'll
now.
cruise through all these because we've talked about them a bunch. Godzilla -1. It's what a Godzilla movie should be. Can't recommend it enough. Dumb Money flew under the radar for a lot of people. If you can find it, absolutely watch it. True story, amazing cast, good watch. Haunted Mansion was my surprise of the year. Loved it. The cast was great. I'm a big fan of the Disney ride, which is literally this movie. The come to life into it is great. Mario Brothers. I mean, we've talked about it. Great cast. Loved it growing up. Still love what they did. Can't wait to see more. I'm gonna not do impressions of the characters for you. Spare you.
Wow.
My top 5: Across the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is, like I said, arguably one of the greatest comic book movies. This one is a fantastic follow-up. Like I said, this is very much a two-parter, so I'm excited to see what happens next. Iron Claw, one of the best movies of the year. I was hoping to see more nominations for it. Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen, honestly, all the actors that play the brothers. Lily James was fantastic
right.
in it.
She's
Yeah,
in a
she
lot
was-
of my favorite movies the last couple years.
She's a great actress. But I mean, if you know the story, even if you don't, great movie. You're not going to feel great after it, but it's a fantastic movie. Barbie. I mean, like I said, if you told me like 3 years ago Barbie is going to be one of the best movies of the year, I'd laugh at you, and it was incredible. Humor, cast, everything. The message behind it was incredible. Guardians 3, we've talked about it. It wraps up a trilogy in a beautiful way. Soundtrack killed it. I mean, we had the Beastie Boys. Couldn't say no. Come on.
That one of the best fight sequences in the MCU.
Incredible.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the soundtrack that much. The one of the few things we didn't talk about that movie. Once again, James Gunn knocked it out of the park.
Honestly, Barbie and Guardians,
Yes.
arguably the 2 best soundtracks of the year. I'll throw it out there.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I think it probably is. Yeah. And then Oppenheimer. I said I'm a big Nolan fan. When I think of, hey, I want to, yes, it is a movie, but this is what I consider a film.
Yes.
If you kind of get what I'm saying. This is a film. It is a very well done film, and I loved it. And I'll keep watching whatever he does. And great again, you don't feel great after it. I mean, it's about the atomic bomb and the guy that made it. But incredible movie, very well done.
To segue that quick, Chin, I'll answer. I think we could tackle this quick from CT Jazz King. If you were to do the Barbenheimer project, what should you watch first if you did them back to back? This one I will take first. I think you just it kind of depends. If you want to feel good at the end of the night, you want to go to bed with a smile on your face. I think
Oppenheimer.
save.
I mean, seeing the mushroom at the end, that's kind of like,
I was gonna say Barbie, because there's the jokes in a way almost like James Gunn, and the comedy. People talk about Guardians 2. There's too much humor in it. I was never in that belief. The comedy's well placed throughout the movie, all throughout the movie. I think Barbie does a great job with that. There's a funny line from Helen Mirren that's a meta thing about Margot Robbie playing Barbie, which was probably one of the funniest jokes I think of the year.
It was a very good joke.
But like if you want to kind of just get blown your socks off, definitely Oppenheimer first. But it kind of ends on that, the ending. So if you want to go to bed with smile on your face, feeling happy, in a good mood, want to change the world the next day, I would do Oppenheimer then Barbie.
Either way, to answer this question, CT Jazz King, I don't believe CT Jazz Queen will walk out of either of these. So I think you'll be good to go.
Agreed.
No, but again, it's really, if you want to feel good as you go to bed, Barbie. If you want an amazing movie, also you can't go wrong either way. It's just how you want to feel at the end of the night.
And Chris,
That's
you
all I
still
have.
need to see both.
Yeah, I still need to see both.
So what are you gonna do? if you were to back to back?
I would recommend not in the same day, personally.
Yeah.
If you have
by
a
all
weekend
means,
or a day off from work, personal day, sick day.
Yeah, I mean, like I would have to watch. I probably have to watch Oppenheimer first. Only because that would be the one movie I know I could get myself to watch. Because I know I cannot watch Barbie. Unless I had the girlfriend with me, because I know she wanted to watch that film as well, and I think we would want to experience that one together. So I probably watch Oppenheimer first and then watch Barbie last.
that's fair.
Good point. You mentioned that I want to mention quick. The first girlfriend of comics did not like Barbie, and it's funny. It seems like more guys liked Barbie and actually legit thought it was a good movie, as opposed to I had a little gathering with friends over the Christmas break and guys and their significant others, and the girls weren't the biggest fan of the movie, funny enough, and the guys loved it, and not just Margot Robbie, but
Well,
it's just like,
it's also it's an amazing, well done movie,
Yeah.
but it's not. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of messages and funny things for guys, but it's not made for. It's very much made for a female audience, if you
Yeah.
will.
Mm.
So,
yeah. There were some who dissected it, I think, a little too much. So don't put into stock what I said about that. I think it's an easily enjoyable movie for all ages.
I agree.
Um,
All right,
and then
To watch.
I'll stop sharing my screen here.
um,
That's all we got.
so I was thinking, and this is like a rapid fire section. I'm being honest, man.
Guy, I'll talk about it all damn day with you. It was a
Same.
great movie.
Same. This gonna be rapid fire. We're gonna go into kind of like honorable mentions / and then we're gonna do like disappointed or least favorite, and then Chin's gonna pull up movies of this year. I've talked a lot. How about Chris? Start out with an honorable mention, and we'll kind of just go bang, 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 bang. Sorry, sorry.
Hold on. Trying to figure out my lists here. Honorable mentions. I mean, Boogeyman. I thought that was a really great Stephen King adaptation. I loved how like partially through the film they're like, fuck it, it's just a monster film. Let's go at it. Like this is great. Like, definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it. And yeah, it's pretty solid.
I'm gonna speak for Chin. You probably didn't see the Boogeyman, right?
I did not.
I saw it. Chris doesn't know, and we saw it together. I enjoyed it, and it was cool because the Stephen King is only like what he wrote as a short story is like pretty much only one scene in the movie. So what the directors and the writer did, they made it a feature-length film. And I'm a sucker for a monster movie. That's like Chris said. It comes down to the end of the day. Casting was good. It was enjoyable. I agree. Chin, do you want to throw an honorable mention out?
Yeah, so I made a list because when I was trying to figure out top 10, I'm pretty sure I saw 25 new releases this year, and I'm very easy to please, so none of them really disappointed me. I enjoyed them all for at least part of what they were. But one that was great, and I don't know if it's the ending of it or if it's going to keep going, but John Wick 4 killed it.
Oh my god, I forgot I saw John Wick 4.
John Wick 4
God,
was
yeah.
incredible.
I'm
So
gonna be
good.
that guy.
You going to tell me you haven't seen the John Wick movies?
He hasn't seen them all. Nope, he hasn't seen a single one.
Yes. Guy, will get to you after. I'm going to probably make another controversial comment. I'm an animal guy, animal lover, dog lover. Is it? I'm a sucker. I am a sucker for animals in films.
You are. I will tell you right. I already know where this is going. You'll be very, very sad at the beginning, but then you're going to be like, yes, this is what needs to happen to people that do things to animals.
Noted. Guy, feel free to punch them into the chat. We'll highlight and answer them. It's kind of like a fun kind of little wrap up sec of the stream. So please feel free, unless this is a comment to someone we said earlier, but feel free to shoot the. Oh yeah, let's since we are kind of doing like honorable mentions, and I'll say, Sean, it was surprise of the year. This one I didn't get to. It was, and I used to be the guy I'll see every comic book movie in theaters. this how the year went personally. It's just I wasn't able to get to it. I know it's been streaming. It's on my list to see because I heard it is fun. I heard the family dynamic is great. The effects are cool. I never do this, but I did see the post-credit scene, which gives me hope for the future of the character. But I do want to see this. Blue Beetle is on my list for next year. How about you guys?
I couldn't get myself to watch it only because I cannot unsee the main kid as like the dude from the Cobra Kai franchise. I just can't separate him from that. So I can't put myself up to watching it because my thought would my whole thought process would be, all right, yeah, this is cool. When's Ralph Macchio coming in? I'm ready for the high school beat
Sweep
down.
the leg, Johnny.
Yeah, sweep. Yep. Zappa. Like I'm waiting for him to show up too. Like where's that guy? Zapka. I don't know why I said Zappa. Like I want him to just pop out and just give him like a good heart to heart, and then kick his ass at the same time. Like I'm waiting for those things to happen. So I literally could not separate at all.
Before you answer, so I'm a big Rocky Horror Picture Show fan, and Dead Man Walking's a great movie. So I'm a Susan Sarandon fan. Put all her beliefs aside. So that's another reason why I want to see Susan Sarandon in another movie.
She's the bad guy.
That's true.
I did see Blue Beetle, and I actually really did. It's definitely DC's best movie of the year. I know it's not going to be part of the DC canon, but I am excited that the actor is staying the same, which is nice because he was fantastic. It was very enjoyable. It's great, especially if, it's a good family movie for the most part. Like your kids will probably love it. Blue Beetle was very enjoyable.
And Guy, Gran Turismo was my number 4. I love the movie. I'm not a gamer, but like I said, it was if you got a good story, you got a good cast, you got like a good feel-good vibe to it. You got your ups, you got your downs. David Harbour was great. Orlando Bloom was great. I apologize, I don't have the lead actor who wins. The guy who followed his story. I thought he did a great job. His family's great. And one of the Digimon Hanzu, who's been in a bunch of comic book related movies. He did a good job as the father. I really enjoyed it. That was my number. Yeah, once again, it was my number 4. And I recommend it. Don't let it. It's a video game movie. I don't want to see that. Don't think of it as a video game movie because it's based off a true story. I think Sean said that the stunt guy was the real life person. So if you guys I forgot what you guys said. For you two, I recommend seeing it, and people watching that didn't see it. It's fun. That's another good feel good movie.
I did want to see it, and I will one day.
Yeah, guys, no worries.
Question though. With all that horsepower in the vehicles, did Legolas get the hobbits to Isengard?
Love it.
I need
That's
to know.
not good enough. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me wanted to see it because it was one of the top movies of the year, and I'm a sick movie
Apparently,
fan.
T Swift killed it at the movies.
Dude,
Apparently, there's a great movie.
Loved the memes that came out of it. Like
I'd rather her in the movies than in my NFL, but
that's fair. That's
And
I was like, Guy, you missed the Beast list all the way through.
I love the Holdovers. I watched it late. Another good friend of the channel, Jared, who I remember tweeted out that it was one of his favorite movies and wished more people saw it in theaters. I think it came out during I think it came out when other things were dominating the theaters. Not a lot of people knew about it. Didn't have a lot of buzz. Paul Giamatti, he's not in a giant rhino costume with a bad Russian accent. So he was great in it.
The only person that can act in a rhino suit is Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura 2.
I love the young actor in it, Dominic Sessa. I think who knows where the FF movie is and what stages it's really in. I think he could be a good Johnny Storm. I have a lot of people in that category. But I'm really interested to see where he goes. I forget. I apologize. Forget the chef's, the cook's name. She was great, and there's a lot of other good supporting characters. It's got I didn't mention this. I got a Dead Poets Society vibe from it. Not as sad. There are some kind of like heart, jerking moments. Not as sad as Dead Poets Society, but it got a similar vibe to it. And once again, Paul Giamatti, and for this actor Dominic Sessa, I forgot what else he's been in. Nothing really too major. So I'm really, for him to hold his own, acting with one of the greatest actors of all time, Paul Giamatti, I thought he did a great job. And I hope this movie, I know there was it trended Giamatti at the fast food restaurant with his Emmy or Critics' Choice Awards. I hope it gets some Oscar at least nominations. Guy, no worries at all. You're one of the OGs in this group, and no worries at all.
Love you, Guy.
If I'll throw an honorable mention out there quick. Yes, that's another good comparison. Those are two of my all-time favorite movies. That's Good Will Hunting as well. I'm probably controversial.
Watch that in full. Good Will Hunting.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I know it's not my fault.
I'm going to say this.
It is.
And I don't mention actually. Do I go controversial first? I won't go controversial first. Horror, but horror light with horror comedy. It dropped on Prime. It was a movie called Totally Killer. I appreciate horror directors that are kind of going to. We've seen that are trying to adapt what a lot of people are doing with time travel, alternate realities, universes. This is like Back to the Future meets a slasher movie. Once again, this was just out on Amazon Prime. We got a new slasher with a new mask, so I always appreciate a good design. I'll get to that comment in a sec. A cool slasher and cool new design. Julia Bowen from Happy Gilmore and Modern Family. She's the mother. They do a really good job because usually time travel before Endgame and like obviously Back to the Future. I'm usually not a big time travel fan, but I thought this a horror movie adapting time travel, I thought it was a good attempt at it. It's funny. There's some gnarly kills in it. This is another horror light. This is one I would recommend because it is kind of almost in that horror comedy genre as well. Going back to Paul Giamatti, one of my Hangover 2, not great, but I think my dad and I's favorite moment is he's with they're going over like the password and it's just like, oh, the password baloney M1, and Paul Giamatti goes, why is it M1? Well, it used to be baloney, but then you had baloney M, but then you had to add number, and then Paul Giamatti goes, effing annoying. That's probably my favorite part of Hangover 2. But yeah, if you're another horror light, if you didn't catch it didn't get a lot of publicity because it was straight to Amazon, I recommend that. Chin, got an honorable mention?
Like I said, I didn't see any bad movies this year. I'll hit two kind of back to back. They're franchise movies, but I enjoyed them. I'm an Indiana Jones guy. It wasn't my favorite, wasn't my least favorite. It was right in the middle, but it was fun seeing Harrison Ford back. I like a good story, so it was cool. And the other one that's franchise, I'm not even a big fan of the franchise, but I didn't pick the movie. I went with people. The new Hunger Games, the Songbirds and Snakes or whatever it's called. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed that movie. The main guy was fantastic. Same with the girl. I don't think I've even seen all the Hunger Games movies, but I was thoroughly enjoying it throughout the whole thing.
It's doing well at the box office too.
Yeah, it was good. It was a solid movie.
And Chris, got any others? And if you have a couple, you can like kind of go through. You can do multiple, and then we can go on to the next quick segment.
Yeah, I think I have like one more really good honorable mention. I would say Renfield was a solid
One less side.
solid film. Yeah, like it Nicolas Cage. That's it.
And Nicholas Hoult, who's going to be our Lex
Nicholas
Luthor.
Hoult.
He's a good actor. I like Nicholas
Oh,
Hoult.
which
And
Benson knows this, but I just watched him in The Menu.
That's on my list.
I
didn't get to
have
last year.
been taking such a long time to try to watch that one. And man, he's so good in it.
I can't wait for his Lex Luthor. I loved Renfield. At first, I'm like, I was mixed. The more I thought about it, I let it simmer for a little bit. Nicolas Cage, him as Dracula, and it's a minor spoiler. Opens up, they kind of do the history of Dracula and Renfield. And if you've seen the original Dracula from 1931. I hope I got that right.
I'm fact checking you right now.
It's 31 or 33.
Was
They-
actually 1864.
they kind of recreate the scene in the original Dracula where Renfield first meets Dracula, but it's Nicolas Cage is in the Bela Lugosi part.
Ooh,
And 32. Was it 32?
31.
I was right. I'm smart. SMRT.
Valentine's Day, surprisingly enough.
And Nicholas Hoult and the Renfield, and that was cool because like the intro, the Universal logo is the original black and white with the universe spinning. You get classic Nicolas Cage. Like it lived up to the hype. Like that movie was going to be good if Nicolas Cage's Dracula is what you had in your mind. It was that, and then some. Nicholas Hoult was great.
Aquafina.
I didn't hate Aquafina. I kind of even don't mind her in Shang-Chi. That's a whole nother discussion. I didn't care for that storyline, but I thought she, for that character, was classic Aquafina in a good way.
Yeah.
Was John? I forgot the actor's name. Kind of like the other main bad guy that's not Dracula.
Oh,
If
the
you
guy
take
that
the movie
played in Parks and Rec. What's the Ben Schwartz?
Yeah. If you take the movie for what it is, when you think about it more, it's not that bad. But watching the movie, I thought it was a little too over the top. But you take that movie for what it is, I thought that was a very fun movie. Jen, that's more kind of like action comedy.
Oh, that's one I'd
Nice.
watch. I just didn't end up seeing it this year.
I'll get the excuse me. I'll get the Sean discussing quick because we're kind of on a horror thing. That's another movie where I was gonna see, but all the negative reviews. Please share how you thought about it. I didn't see it because I heard it just was not good, and I love the original. Quick fun fact, I got to meet Linda Blair at a convention in a Super Mega Fest in your neck of the woods, Chen, kind of.
I know it well.
I love the original Exorcist. I haven't seen actually 2, which I heard is bad. I heard 3 is really good. I just heard the movie did not do well, and I know it's streaming. I did not see the new Exorcist.
Yeah, the first one was such a good piece of art. I never watched a single sequel that came from that. Because I thought the first was just they hit it on the money. It was something that just I never wanted to be touched. And then of course to get get the cash out of it, right? Like they had to do the whole sequel thing with it, but like I can't force myself to see a sequel based off The Exorcist. I'm like it will just ruin the magic that it originally had.
I have no opinion and will have no opinion because I will not be watching it.
You're a solid horror fan, right?
Exactly. If anybody knows anything about me, is I love to be scared. I love it.
Chris, any more honorable mentions before I spit out? I'll go very quick. Any others from you? You hit Renfield for me.
This is where a list comes in.
You know what? Like, I have my letterbox open in front of me.
As do I.
For just to wrap up the franchise, Insidious, The Red Door.
Good.
It was definitely the better third film that it needed than the actual third film from that franchise. Like I really didn't think it needed 3, 4, and 5 out of because there's like I think there's 6 films total. It didn't need those other sequels and the one prequel in between. If you just watch Insidious 1, 2, and then you get to the third one, like it was definitely a better story than everything with everything else in there. What's that kid's name that was in that film?
Oh, and he's been in other things. The Son.
And he's been in The Son, because he was also in Iron Man 3. He was
the kid actor. Chin probably.
The kid actor.
Think of it before I do. mean,
Ty
Simpkin.
Yeah.
He
did a good job.
Great.
Patrick Wilson back. I love Patrick Wilson and pretty much everything he does, and he directed it, which is cool.
Yep. Yeah, his first that was his debut film. It was definitely worth watching. I think the other only because I watched a lot of horror films this year. Cobweb was pretty
That's on my
solid.
list.
It was pretty solid until the ending. It was great. It was great up to that point. Only because I personally wanted something just a little different than just like the cuts that they did in it. Because it is one of those films where it had it ended with the concept of the being like it's never going to end. Like you think that just because you did this one thing, it's going to end it. No. I will basically the character said that I am the entity that will always be in your mind at this point. And it was honestly worth streaming it the other day unexpectedly. So that's honestly that's probably my last honorable mention of the year.
And I'm gonna spit fire just a couple quick.
Mike, before you go off on your list of 237 other films, I got 3 other quick ones, so that probably might be on your list. I got D&D, Honor Among Thieves, was really fun.
I heard it was good. I didn't see it.
It was a definition of a fun movie. I just saw it on Tuesday, but Wonka, I actually it was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
I have to see that
well,
the Marvels and Ant-Man were. Oh, sorry, what?
Hitchhike Off Wonka quick. The original Willy Wonka, as I'm sure with you guys, is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Great movie.
Wilder, that's an iconic performance. I think I was too biased with that. I couldn't get into Chalamet. He did a fine job. Once again, I'm biased. I think also that movie was strictly for the kids, which I'm happy for. The kids had a new Willy Wonka movie to see, and I'm happy for that. Villains, once again, kid movie, kind of generic kid villain movie. I'm not gonna, that's me being.
The villains
jaded
were over the top in the best way, in my opinion.
They
were very. They made me laugh. They made me laugh quite a bit.
And I mentioned it earlier. Keegan-Michael Key was hilarious. I think he sold the film.
Every scene he's in, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
That was good. The Marvels and Ant-Man, they were all right. That was. I saw a ton of other movies too, but those are it. All right, Mike.
This will be fast, I promise.
All 237. Go.
We haven't had many good comedies the last couple of years. Comedies have taken a back seat. There's kind of been a lot of duds. I'm going to mention 2 quick. Bat Mitzvah. I think Adam Sandler. I think he directed it, and he's
his
a side
daughters,
character.
Right?
It's his daughter. I thought it was fun. It's Adam Sandler's not the main character, but he plays a Jewish dad with teen daughters growing up. Obviously, there's a bat mitzvah, which is the term for the females. Bar mitzvah. Yes. Adam Sandler, I thought had some classic Adam Sandler being a supporting role. I thought it was just a fun, for all ages movie. Did you guys see that before we move on quick to my others? If you're looking for just quick laughs, it's Adam Sandler. I recommend it. No Hard Feelings. Talk about comedies. The adult comedies had their peak in like the mid 2000s to the 2010s with Judd Apatow and a couple other movies. I thought Jennifer Lawrence, who is usually hit or miss with me, I thought she did a great job in this movie. You also have Matthew Broderick, who plays the father of the kid she's dating, kind of. I love Matthew Broderick, so he was great in it. Jennifer, I forgot the actor's name, the lead actor. He was good. It was good to see like the adult, PG-13, maybe. I think that was an R-rated one.
It was definitely R. She's naked in a scene. It was R. It was a solid movie, though. I did see it. It was funny.
So I'm happy, and I want to see that one. I keep forgetting the title with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell from I can't remember.
Anybody But You.
Name. Yes, I want to see that because I think that's almost in like the same vein. Another solid adult comedy. Just once again, just a few more. I'm going to say one more horror movie. It's A Wonderful Knife. If you're in the mood for holiday horror, which I'm usually not a fan of because I don't want to see like Santa killing people, but there's a cool design. This was also straight to stream. This was on the horror stream service Shudder. The White Angel, the Angel Killer. I thought that the costume design was cool. And if you love The Wonderful Life, or if you know the movie, it's a classic all-time Christmas movie. This is a good horror take on it. I thought there was a lot of heart in this movie. The lead was great, and the supporting character, the relationships he develops with, I thought was great. There's some, I'm not a gore horror big on kills, but I thought it was good. Justin Long has had this resurgence in his career in like horror movies. He's a little too over the top in it, but I wanted to mention that. Lastly, I don't mention possibly controversial, The Flash. CGI, yes, I know. Ezra Miller, ooh. Okay. Michael Keaton back as Batman, and we'll get into most anticipated movies in a little bit. Michael Keaton, seeing him back as Batman, it was great from the moment they go back to the Wayne Manor, him in the suit. I was, I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen when Keaton was back as Batman. I'm a Superman family fan, huge fan. I thought Sasha Calle, that take on Supergirl was different, but I liked it. I thought she did a solid job. There is heart in this movie. If you can get past the Ezra Miller, I liked the heart and the theme it had. The whole Black Flash, that could go either way. I'm still mixed on that. Sean, I hear what you're saying. I know the CGI. But there's the wrestling fans, there's the term mark, who's a sucker for all the old classic stuff. I was a mark to see, as bad as the CGI may have been, you see Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater. You got to see Nicolas Cage finally in his Superman return.
Fighting his spider.
The Brainiac spider. And like Flash is also a top 5 superhero for me. It was the only Flash movie we have so far. I know it has its faults. But, because of Keaton, we got a Supergirl, the Easter eggs. I had to put in my honorable mentions.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like, you saw all the good stuff. Like, Keaton was great back in there. And, like, it did have heart and stuff. But out of all the DC movies, I always said the casting was incredible on all of them, except Ezra Miller. He fucking sucked. I'll say it. He was real bad as the Flash, and it sucks because I love the Flash. He's one of my all-time favorite characters, and it was enough to where I was like, "This is the first Flash movie," and I'm like, "Damn." Okay,
I get completely.
It makes me excited. Gives me more hope. I'm excited that it's done and over, and that we might have a much brighter, better future with newer stuff happening in the DC universe. Yeah. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the Flash.
Obviously, if you've watched the Flash show, Grant Gustin is the better Flash. I was a mark and hoping he would show up, or the post-credit scene was like he comes out of the Speed Force and that's going to be the new Flash, or even. But that was high expectations.
I'm very happy with where they ended because now it can just James can do his thing now.
Exactly. Who knows? We could see Grant Gustin. Maybe 2 holding on to that. But and then quickly, most disappointing / worst. I'm gonna name off a few. I'll go first, and I'll be quick. You mentioned Ant-Man. Jonathan Majors is great. Put all his personal life aside. So that's relatable to that. He was great as Kang. But I said this, I think I texted you this, Chin. At times that movie was like the Star Wars, franchise. At times it felt like the original 3. At times it felt like the bad parts of the prequel trilogy. Bad CGI, bad jokes, not attracting, just a waste of Bill Murray. I'm a huge Bill Murray fan. I thought his character is kind of, that's what you use Bill Murray for. How Kang is defeated with ants. Michelle Pfeiffer was also great. Paul Rudd's always great as Ant-Man. I thought Michael Douglas kind of, he was the Ant Wrangler. The actress plays the daughter, Stinger or Stature. She was good. MODOK, one of the biggest abominations ever put on the film. I'm a huge Jack Kirby fan. That's one of my least favorite characters in the comics. I can't believe they actually tried to put him in the live action MCU. So that's how I feel about Ant-Man. Quickly, the Meg 2. I had fun with the first Meg. It's Jason
I was
Statham.
still shocked you wanted to go see that. Like,
It goes
I'm happy I didn't.
so over the top. So over the
But
top.
The
It's fun.
first one at least was a fun popcorn, shove it down my throat, giant shark, Jason Statham. The second one was just boring. 90% of the movie is just them talking in the underwater station, and you got 3 Megs just circling around the whole time. You finally get to the end, and it's just like the sharks are just taking. They throw in a Kraken, which is like, I love the Kraken. I'm a sucker for giant squids, but they kind of just threw it in there at the end. It's disappointing.
See, I love
another-
those. I love the sci-fi cheesy B movies, like giant octopus versus like megalodon. I love that stuff. So it was like cheesy enough to where I liked it.
Maestro, which is probably could get Oscar nominations. I don't know if you guys saw it. I love Bradley Cooper. I'm spacing on the rest of the cast.
Gary
I
Mulligan.
never knew Leonard Bernstein that was his life, and if I knew his life going into it, I wouldn't have thought that warranted a film. My personal opinion. I thought like the first half hour was good, but then you really see the kind of character he is and how him and his wife's relationship. As good as Bradley Cooper is and the rest of the cast, that movie bored me and the first girlfriend of comics. You People, once again, a movie with Jonah Hill, put all his personal stuff from a couple months ago aside. Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Eddie Murphy. That movie was just poorly written, and they had a message, and I thought they failed at it completely. And then lastly, Pet Sematary, the original is a classic. I haven't seen the sequel. The remake wasn't that good. They tried to do Pet Sematary Bloodlines, a prequel. I thought it failed. Those are my least honorable, most disappointing movies.
And the other 200?
I'm done.
That's what I was waiting for.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the only
Shall we wrap this up with a quick most anticipated?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say the only disappointing film I saw this year was Evil Dead Rise, and that's I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
It was an abomination. But that's a very controversial opinion. But most anticipated.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you said you have a whole list, right?
Yeah, and I know you also have so I'm probably going to shoot off do you still have that slide or photo?
I mean, I pulled up anticipated movies, so there's like 300 of them, so we don't have to go through all those. So let's go off of your 200 list.
I'll start,
201.
I think it's on this one's going to be on all our lists. Deadpool 3. Those first 2 movies are great. They're actually
Hoping for the best.
I have a list of favorite comic book movies like overall, and both of those are very high. And with this movie, you have Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine. All the set leaks, the photo leaks, the rumors, the Swifties. I'm excited for this, and for the MCU, I'm excited because I think it's going to be a step. It's going to be a hit. Who knows what the following films will be? But I think it's going to be a much needed hit if they nail the landing. Do you guys want to comment on that quick?
I'm hoping for the best. I'm excited. It has the makings of what could be really great. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best. If it's anything like the first 2, I'll enjoy it. So
Yeah. I'm just happy to see Hugh Jackman back on the screen for a bit.
Joker Folie à Deux. It's a tough rewatch, but still the first Joker. The Joker is is also high on my comic book movie list. Joaquin Phoenix was great in that. Lady Gaga. I'm a huge fan of her acting and as a performer. I've heard, from people who've seen it, and they say it's good. Like there's musical numbers, but it doesn't take away. So if your musicals turn you off, it's not a huge thing that should turn you off from it. The movie. I'm excited to see it. Obviously, Joker, Harley Quinn is iconic in comics, so I'm excited for that one.
yeah, I agree. I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. I'm curious to see how the second one goes.
Beetlejuice 2. We mentioned Keaton coming back to, Tim Burton, Batman, and the Flash movie. This movie, I know these belated sequels of comedies have not been well the last couple of years. I'm biased because Beetlejuice is in my all-time top favorite list. I'm excited to see him back in the character. You have Winona Ryder coming back as Lydia, and one of the hottest names in not just horror but all of Hollywood. I think she even has some movies coming out this year that I can't think of off the top of my head. But Jenny Ortega from the Screen, she's been awesome in the Screen movies. If you watched Wednesday, she was great in that. She was good in X. So she's one of her first non-horror movies and big blockbuster movies. I don't think it's been confirmed, or I still don't know. I haven't checked IMDb. I think Johnny Depp is in this movie. And also Willem Dafoe is confirmed as like a paranormal detective.
I wouldn't be surprised by either of those.
Johnny Depp, my rumor, my prediction is he's gonna, in some way, shape, or form, gonna be Lydia's husband. It could be flashbacks. It could be just a small, cameo. But if that is true, I'm starting to say I think Willem Dafoe is confirmed, and he's just one of the all-time greats. So I'm excited for Beetlejuice 2.
I'm really excited to see how it's going to look. 'Cause I think Jenny Ortega just posted something about how a lot of it is just practical effects. Like there's very little CGI in this film.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what they do. They do with it.
I'm going to mention surprisingly just one more. Guys, feel free to chop in with others, but I don't want to take up too much time. Horror. It's a big year for Universal monster movies. I have a bunch of those on my list. I won't go into them. But Nosferatu. I've been meaning to watch the original. It's on Shudder, I believe. I'm sure you can rent it. Blu-rays are available. But it's Robert Eggers, who I'm mixed with. I didn't care for The Witch. I didn't care for The Lighthouse. But he's got a style. Those movies, as overall, are good movies. I wasn't a fan of them, but those are well-directed movies and great acting. The Northman blew me away. You have another Skarsgård. Once again, we mentioned him in Infinity Pool. Alexander Skarsgård. He was great in that. And that movie was also, some people, I don't know if it's true, but The Northman is actually what inspired Macbeth. Or it could be the other way around, but whatever. So he did a great job at Northman. This is going to be Bill Skarsgård as the titular character of Nosferatu. There's a whole history on that and the original Dracula and why he's called Nosferatu. But he's in it. Willem Dafoe's in that. There's an awesome picture that Variety or one of those outlets tweeted up, Dafoe being Dafoe in all his glory. Is it Anya Taylor-Joy? Yeah, she's in it. So I can't wait for that. I have a ton of other movies. I'll let you guys, because we're closing up soon. But do you guys have any other most anticipated on your lists?
Chris, if you want to
go. Sure. I just from scrolling through because I also had to pop up a list, see what was coming out. I think I told you guys before, like I'm honestly excited to see Sonic 3 when it comes out. Like I'm super excited to see his shadow on screens. I thought what they've done with the franchise so far has been really good, and especially like because Sonic is such a childhood game of mine. Like I cannot wait to see that. Two, rivals of like a Goku Vegeta come on the screen. And I completely forgot this was coming out. I'm a huge Pixar fan, and I'm really excited to see Inside Out 2 to come out. Also, I'm a little scared of it, just because I hope they don't kill it, because the first one was so well done.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh, and then of course Garfield, Chris Pratt. Listen, I could go all day with Chris Pratt stuff. Like, loved him and everything. Can't wait for him to be Garfield.
Also, Sean mentioned Puss in Boots from this year. There's another Shrek coming out. I did not like Shrek 2.
Are we finally getting Shrek 5?
I did not. I hated Shrek 2.
Wow.
Absolutely loved 1. 3 was fun. I didn't see 4, but I think it's the original cast, so why not?
I mean, listen, the internet has been raving for Shrek 5 to come out.
It's not ogre yet.
Years. It's never ogre. You should know this. Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
They're onion. It's just a big onion. The layers keep going.
Anyways, Chin.
Yeah, I got a couple. Dune 2. I cannot wait. Should have already been out. Was postponed because of the strikes. March. Can't wait. I'm very excited for it. I will be seeing it in IMAX. Can't wait. Love the first one. Can't wait to see the second part. Another one actually right around the same time. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. I loved
Oh, right.
Afterlife.
Yeah.
Afterlife was incredible. It was great. They described this new one as like almost like an episode of the cartoon, which I'm all for.
Oh,
Like,
that's super cool.
give me a bunch of cool, like almost one-off kind of villains that like for a movie. I'm all for it. I love it.
That giant ice monster looks cool.
Yeah, it looks like a very cool idea to it. And again, that was supposed to be out this past December, but was postponed, which sucks. There's a couple other ones I've seen trailers for. I think it's called like The Fall Guy. It's got Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. It's based off an old TV show that looked really fun. Mike, you already hit a Deadpool 3, like hoping for the best. I hope that next year in general, or sorry, I should say this year in general, is as hopefully at least as good as this past year was for movies. So
Yeah.
that's
And
my
I'm
hope.
sorry. I'm going to mention 3 more. I'm sorry. I apologize. Allegedly, The Crow with Bill Skarsgård is coming out. This movie's
Oh, yeah.
been sitting forever.
Mhm.
I love the original. That's also high in my all-time favorite and comic book movies list. That's a new movie's been in production forever, multiple actors. We also have Argyle with that.
Yeah,
cast.
that Argyle looks. I love Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn's done great stuff with The Kingsman.
Yeah.
Then you have Bryan Cranston, Henry Cavill,
Sam
Edward
Rockwell.
Norton, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's like the main guy. I
awesome.
think.
Sam Rockwell.
The whole cast. Look at the trailer's great. John Cena, so it's.
Mhm.
I can't wait for that. There's a Bob Marley biopic. I'm a big Bob Marley fan. He had an interesting life. Interesting to see how that goes. And I'm gonna mention kind of out of left field on Valentine's Day, Lisa Frankenstein. Kind of another take on Frankenstein. I think it's gonna be like a horror comedy.
It's a
But
Sprouse twin, isn't it?
it's what?
It's one of the Sprouse twins, isn't it? That's in
I
that
think
movie?
so. He's the Frankenstein in this. The Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think we've hit all of most of anticipated. Once again, there's several other YouTubers and lists online. There's a lot of other stuff I would go on, but thank you for spending 2+ hours. I kept it under 3, which is shorter than my MCU ranking.
Shorter than
while ago.
Oppenheimer.
True. So in closing, this was fun. I've been wanting to get back. I wanted to continue to do live videos. Pre-recorded is just too much editing. So if I can I'm trying to do at least 1. I'm trying to do at least 2 a month. Let's shoot for that. Guys, got one more question. Lay it on us.
Let's hear it, guy. Also, everybody in the chat, thanks for rocking with us.
Yeah, guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah, appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it. You never know how live videos are going to go, especially when they get this long. So everyone who was in at any point of this, I really appreciate it. Ooh, that's a good point. I think that's worth talking about. Have you guys heard about this?
I believe they
just
just
announced.
finished filming.
And I think it is this year.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you see like an October, November release.
Yeah.
It's Chin. I'm gonna let you. Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
No,
No,
it's
who's-
what's his name? Paul Mescal. There's a ton of other people in it too.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure the main character in this one is it's that actor Paul. I think it's Mescal or French last name. But I'm
There's
excited.
a lot of people in it, right? Or
There's
it's
a
a pretty solid cast.
A whole ton of people, a handful of people from the original,
Yeah.
plus a whole slew of other new people.
Um,
And it's Ridley Scott. So
Yes. And I thought Jake Gyllenhaal, he is going to be in a belated sequel to a movie.
Roadhouse.
He's going to be in Roadhouse.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is tweet, Google, MySpace, 4chan, Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse.
Isn't it? It's a reboot, right? It's not a sequel, right?
I think it's a reboot, but it's one of those. But is it or it? You know,
Gotcha.
it's kind of still not yet fully confirmed, but it is coming out. He got ripped for it. as
You
Jake
did.
Gyllenhaal does.
Mhm.
But yeah,
As long
Gladiator,
as-
answer your question, guy.
As
That
long as
is, I'm
Sam
pretty sure.
Elliott shows up in the film, I'll be happy. That's all I asked for Roadhouse.
Gladiator 2 is, I believe, coming out. I don't know the date.
I'll look it up really quick for you, guy.
Of course, guy. Of course. But yeah, thank you everyone who tuned in throughout this movie. Guy, you can stay until I'll send you the link. You can hang out
November
with us.
22nd.
You can hang
I was
out.
saying November 22nd, because you got Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal,
Yes.
Damian Hansu, Denzel, apparently.
Yeah, I almost
Barry
yes, you're right. Wow, yeah.
Keoghan, ton of people.
That's another one that can't be bad. The first one was great. But yeah, once again, everyone who tuned in at any point throughout, thank you again. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. I have a couple other fun things in mind. Maybe these two will be with me, maybe not. Who knows? If they want to come back and do another long video, Guy, please. 'Cause,
Yes, and I
Okay.
cannot wait to watch the finale right after we close down this show.
I love the actor.
I just got this season 2.
So, he was the Aquaman in Smallville. He was phenomenal. He was arguably my favorite character in Titans. I thought they did him dirty, and that started why I stopped watching Titans. What happened with this character? I've heard nothing but good things about this, about the show. I saw one clip involving a dog, and it made me happy because I did watch that clip. I want to watch this year and get caught up in everything. But yeah, that could be another video too, TV, because I know there's a lot of stuff that's already dropped and people love. I think this is going to be another big year for TV. But this was fun. This was a really good time. I do plan on doing a couple more of these. Couldn't agree more.
He is in movies. He's in the new Fast and the Furious.
That's right.
He's got a handful. He's got a couple of new movies coming out. I'm glad he's finally getting his due credit.
Agreed. But yeah, keep tuned to social media. Once again, you never know how these videos are going to turn out, and people came out, and I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And keep an eye out on Mike the Beast Benson on Instagram. And if you haven't, like, follow, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, because I do want to get more active in this. So I appreciate Chin and Chris for joining me tonight. And I'm trying to think. If you're in the comic community, King Con in New Jersey is coming up. If you're part of 3 Men in the Basement, I could let Chin go into that. They have some fun events coming up. You got Terrificon, which is my all-time favorite convention, in Mohegan Sun in August. Mitch does a phenomenal job. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'd like to do more music along with my YouTube channel. I want to do more music. I'd love to get some shows going on. So, blow up my social media if anything comes of that. And yeah, if you go to my Instagram bio, hit the link. There's a link to where you can listen to my album. I think, Chin, anything you'd like to plug? And once again, thanks for joining us tonight.
No, really just thanks for having me. It was great talking movies. Very nice meeting you, Chris.
You too, Chen.
Like Mike said, I'm over on 3 Men in a Basement on YouTube and Instagram and all them, and I hang out with them. If you're in the comic book community, even if you're not, we have a comic crawl coming up next month in February up in Massachusetts area. Anybody's more than welcome to join. Just shoot us a message. We'll throw you on the list. Damn right, guy. And I'm looking forward to hitting some shows. I'll be at King Con. I'll be at Terrificon. A bunch of other shows. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. And hopefully, well, if Mike will have me, I'd be more than happy to come back and talk more movies or TV shows or comics or not horror movies, stuff like that.
Thanks for tuning in, man.
Beg to differ with that last part, though, Polly. Other than that, it's great seeing you.
Whoa, yeah. You know what? Who's the leader in points? Who's one of the top teams? I hope the Rangers and Bruins meet in the playoffs. So it's gonna be a hell of a series. Probably might not survive that. My quick hockey minute. I'm the NHL. I'm excited for. It's Bruins Rangers. Keep an eye out for those two.
Yeah.
And Chris, anything, thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending 2 hours, 14 minutes, 25 seconds with us. Anything you'd like to plug before we head out?
Yeah, like I said before, I have a title "Gotta Go Under" from a little town. It's for my music pages and stuff. You can find me basically everywhere: Facebook, Instagram. I think I have a Twitter. Do I have a Twitter? I don't remember if I have.
You
a
used
Twitter.
to.
I think I used to. But then my
It's
music is-
X now,
It's X.
so
Okay,
you know.
Elon Chin.
Yeah.
No.
But my music is out on every streaming platform you could probably think of. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. It just search "From a Little Town." You'll see my face, and I'm there.
LimeWire.
LimeWire. I think I'm also on Napster. I don't know. I kind of just on DistroKid. I clicked the whole checkbox and I said, "Let it go."
Nice.
So I think I'm on Napster.
But yeah, once again, thanks for you two joining me. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Seriously means a lot. Gives this guy gives me great joy to see that
Nice.
a lot of the good homies.
Italian
showed-
job, baby. I love it.
It really means a lot and motivated me to keep this up and try to get the channel going. Thank you for spending 2 48 seconds plus with us. That being said, we're all excited for 2024, and it was fun talking about 2023. Hats off to everyone involved tonight. This was fun, and take care, everyone.